Hello, I'm Yessica Mestre. I'm an early stage researcher of the INEA project at the Andalusian School of Public Health of Granada, Spain, and I'm a PhD student at the University of Granada. In this video, I will briefly explain the key results and ethical principles of the research project, Research Ethics in Intersex Studies, exploring ethical principles for a human rights-based research practice. The principles that I will describe are based on findings from a literature review and the project fieldwork. The literature review explored research practices in intersex-related studies and the experiences of other communities who have also suffered violations of their human rights during research. The fieldwork consisted in semi-structured interviews with researchers, research participants, and experts in research ethics about research practices in intersex-related studies. The information was codified and analyzed using thematic analysis. The result of these findings are two different types of principles. Some principles focus on the participants' well-being and protection of their rights, and others focus on the researchers' well-being and preparation. To give more context about intersex-related studies, according to the literature review, the research of the intersex population has come with a history of medicalization of their bodies from an early age, imposition of gender roles, trying to classify the bodies in either male or female boxes, pathologizing language with the framing of conditions as abnormal or disorders. The literature review also identifies situations of epistemic injustice, such as the lack of recognition of intersex experience within medical research. Other important feature was misrepresentation. During the fieldwork, some participants mentioned that not all intersex people's agenda should be framed under a LGBTQI agenda, because there are particularities that are only relevant for intersex people, and the idea of mixing it could create a misrepresentation of the major needs of intersex people. After giving the research context, now I'm going to talk about the principles. Starting with the principles that are focused on the participants' well-being and protection of their rights. The first one is the acknowledging of life experiences. It implies the centering of intersex people's voices, giving power to their narratives and consequently their knowledge. Interview preparation. It's understanding the background of the community and the participants' preferred language, which could avoid stigmatization or pathologization. Also, it is advisable for the researchers to inform the participants regarding the general topics to be addressed in the interview. Informed consent. Understanding informed consent as a constant process, where the participants are active actors involved in all the stages of the research project. Then, trauma-informed research practices. In case that during the research process, particularly during the interviews, the participants present some sort of discomfort, it is recommended for the researchers to have an action plan or set the rules to be used, such as the possibility of a psychotherapy session for the participants after the interview. Sharing findings. It could be helpful to share the data obtained and final results of the research with the community and particularly with the research participants. Thus, the relationship will not finish with the fieldwork. In addition, it is advisable to offer the participants the possibility to review the transcripts of their interviews and to indicate modifications. And finally, appreciation. The effort and time that the participants employ sharing the life experiences should be acknowledged by the researcher. Now, I will talk about the second set of principles focused on the researcher's well-being. The first one is the reflection. It's understanding the personal motivation to develop the research. It implies analysis of the personal expectations, triggers, and beliefs that could impact in some way the research. It's considered a good practice to create personal strategies for taking care of their own mental health. Second one, understanding the community. It's understanding the internal dynamics that differentiate the intersex community from others, which can allow the researchers to avoid a misrepresentation of their identities and needs. Previous training. Considering that many intersex people have endured violence to their bodies at some point of their lives, it is recommendable for the researchers to receive trauma-informed training and therefore be prepared to give support to the participants if needed. They consult in the community. The community could be a great support to determine the possible impact of the research project, and to review if it's aligned with the community priorities or if it could create any potential harm. The next one is relationship of trust. An honest approach regarding the research aim, expectations of the researchers, the clarification of procedures in case of disagreement during the research project, and the respect of participants' rights can create an environment of trust throughout the research project. Finally, language. Acknowledging the different existing terminologies within the community could be helpful to avoid possible discomfort for the participants or stigmatization. It was possible to conclude how important it is to take time for the research design. It is a crucial stage of the research, and it implies learning the history of the community, their current agenda, needs, and their previous experiences with research. It is important to consult them when you have the research idea and see if the research is going to be beneficial for them or not. With this research design, the positionality has a great value. It means understanding from the beginning the personal motivations to develop the research. It is also important to understand that the focus should be on the narratives of intersex people. Therefore, they should be centered and respected throughout the research. Lastly, some of the stages of the research process could be overwhelming. In this sense, a support network for researchers and participants could be helpful. Thank you so much for your attention. If you would like to have more information on the INEA project, please visit the website. For any question, feel free to contact me.